All right, guys, it's been a few weeks. We're back out here in Malvern. We actually just finished this trip. Run through what we had for you here. We did that electric last trip. We got all of the old stuff pulled off the wall and cleaned up. We got to decide if we have the budget to put new siding on this side or if we're just going to put that old stuff back together. Here we have a new sewer trench. The city had to come out and put a tap in the road because the old sewer was no bueno. So there's a clean out for the city side. This is where our trench was, and then this is not actually the clean out. The clean out is down there. We just put that there so that we know where it's at. Anyways, we poured the porch. We had to do some plumbing trenches inside, and we figured since we're getting a concrete truck out, we might as well pour a new porch. The old porch was only about, well, I guess it was 4 feet wide, and it was a little bit lower, and water pooled in it. So this is 5.5 feet wide, and it's a little step up so we don't have the water right in the entry of the house here. All right. There's the torch down roofing we're going to put on. All of our junk stacked on the top of it, but that's going to go on the roof next time we come out. We still have a little bit of prep work to do on the roof, which I may take you up there and show you that little table. There's some leftover concrete we'll get rid of after when we get our dumpster on the next trip out. Here's the half bath. Nothing's really changed since the last time we were here. Just a temporary sink and toilet for us to use. There's the entry. There's the 4th bedroom / workshop. Not really a lot since the last time. I think we showed the closet framing the last time. Anyways, there's the closet, and there'll be a shelf above the closet for storage. All right, dining room, kitchen. The kitchen, there is a little conduit, goes over to the wall where the electrical panel is, so we can run power to an island. I'm going to put this plumbing over top of it just so that we don't trip on it and fall. I've stubbed my toe on that so many freaking times. And temporary water line running over to our temporary bathroom. So we are going to pull that out of the wall on our next trip, and we're going to sister most of these studs because they notched it out. Probably shouldn't have, but I guess back in the day they didn't care. I think we looked at this before, but you got king stud, trim stud, and cripple for this window, and they notched it out to run their plumbing vent through there. Why they thought that was a good idea, I don't know. But we're gonna have to just block that in and put a sister on each side of it. That will be a drain for the kitchen sink, and we'll just have to put an air admittance valve underneath that cabinet. All right, now this will be the bathroom wall. We put the bottom plate down and we drilled holes just so we could get our temporary water line to run, since we cut and abandoned all of the old water lines. That will be the drain for the bathtub. That will be the vent that will go out through the roof, which we need to pull all this down and clean that up. There's a little bit of a mess on the roof we got to clean up. This window is going to get framed in, just a piece of plywood temporarily to block it off. That's where the old tub was. All that's going to get cut off. New toilet, new vanity. All right. This is our trench. This is where the new sewer goes out through, I guess you would call it the third bedroom. Some more concrete that we're gonna haul away when we get the dumpster back out here. And other than that, nothing has really changed in this room. There's an old dinosaur furnace we looked at before. Bedroom that's kind of just been junk collecting. And another bedroom that's just been kind of junk collecting. Nothing going on in there. Well, I guess there's one thing. I did have to cut a hole in the ceiling, my nice square cuts, because when I did the soffit, I had to sister that rafter, and I needed to come inside to attach it to the existing rafter. All right, there's the drywall that came out of it. We'll probably put that back up there just so we don't have to try to cut something to fit. All right, let's see here. This video is turning into a little bit of a longer video. We took all of the soffit and fascia off, and behind it was all this old plywood soffit with the screening, which actually kind of looks cool. I mean, if we cleaned it up and painted it, it might be kind of cool, but we ended up blocking between every rafter and then putting a new 2x8 fascia board all the way along. And I don't know what the deal was. This rafter was cut off, and it looked like that corner was added on previously. I think it was meant because this rafter was the only one that came full length. So we're just gonna cut that piece of roof out and restore it to what I assume was original, which lines up with our porch pretty good anyways. Here you can see where some of the old joists are rotted from the drip edge on the roof. Had a little lip to retain the gravel, and it rusted through in a few spots, and the ends of these rafters were rotted away quite a bit. So we had to sister a number of them, blocking it in, and then we put a new fascia board up. All right, let's make our way around here. The sides seem to be in pretty good shape. We'll probably just trim that off to match because this is a 2x10. I'll probably just trim that off to match the 2x8 we put on the front. And we'll clean it up and either paint it or maybe put some soffit and fascia on there. All right, now, since we ran the new water line, this hose spigots on the house, that's the new water line trench, by the way. A water meter. And the spigots on the house were no longer operable, so we put this hydrant in, and it works great. Here is a box that has a shut-off valve and a pressure regulator. And then here, we drilled a hole in the foundation, and we took a 3-inch sewer line out the back, stubbed it up. Now we have a clean out in the back. We can also use that for an RV dump if we wanted to. We also poured a little pad here when we did the other concrete work, because this door, or this window, is probably going to end up a door at some point. So we figured while we're pouring, we might as well put a little pad there. Okay, let's go. Yeah, this is going to be a longer video. Let's go see what we have upstairs. All right, so we cut the drip edge off to do our new fascia board all the way along. There's a sewer vent for the half bath. And this little patch, that's where the old sewer vent was. All right. We scraped and swept all of the gravel off this roof. And we took the drip edge off all the way around. A new fascia board. And this is the area that we're gonna trim that little notch out, just because that's the way it was actually framed. How they did it wasn't really structural. Now here, I still gotta sweep up my mess, but there was a plumbing vent there that was leaking a little bit. Got a couple of planks that are rotted away. This vent was not leaking, and the planks are in pretty good shape. So we'll probably just put a plywood patch over that. This one we're gonna have to cut out a little bit bigger, put a bigger patch. This vent was leaking, and just south or just downhill from that vent, you can see this rafter is fairly rotten, and this is that insulation in the bathroom below. So we're gonna, next time we come out, I'm gonna suit up so that I don't get all this crud falling on me, and I'm gonna pull all that down. We're gonna sister this rafter probably a good 4 or 5 feet each direction, and then we'll have to put a nice big patch on this roof. And then of course there's the new power drop and the roof boot for that. So, making good progress. I was hoping we'd get a little bit farther along this trip, but you know, that sewer tap took a little bit of extra time and a lot of extra money that we weren't really counting on. So I guess that's just the way it goes. Oh, one more thing maybe we can look at. We're here. We had this whole side yard. Every time it would rain, this whole side yard would get really wet, and then the water would come and flood the carport. So I dug all this out, created a berm, and then we put some road base in. So now we have some additional parking on the side and a berm to divert the water so our carport doesn't flood anymore. And then there's the side yard. It was all the way over, about 5 feet short of that shed. Not too bad. It was all the way back there. Got about 1/3 of an acre here. All right, well, thanks for joining, and we'll talk at you next time.